these two roles don't have to work separately, but can work together to drive impact and understanding of what users need. And that is through collaboration and shared understanding. I'm Ninsiima Rukandema, and this is SEO in 2025, Additional Insights.
Ninsiima, what's your additional insight for SEO in 2025?
My additional insight is the value that you can drive with combining CRO and SEO. SEO tells you a lot about how people are getting to the website, what people are searching about to get to the website, but the experience of people once they get onto the website should align with what they were initially searching for. By combining SEO and CRO, you can drive value on site once people get there.
So what do we mean by combining CRO and SEO? Is that actually having both tasks combined as part of the same role? Or are you actually talking about maybe within a larger organization, if you've got CRO specialists working with them, liaising with them on a regular basis?
Yes, I think it's more about the collaboration between them and kind of sharing insights. So through doing testing, you gain insights and learnings about what users are engaging with, what their needs are. Similarly, in SEO, you understand what people are searching for and where they're landing on site. So combining those kind of learnings and working together in a collaborative sense allows you to streamline and have a consistent journey for those users.
So what would be an example of an insight that an SEO could get from CRO and not necessarily from working within SEO?
I think it's more the other way around. So from SEO, one can understand what people are searching for to get to the site. Let's say people are searching for a certain information around train tickets, for example, the timings of train tickets and what kind of features come with certain ticket types. And so with that learning and understanding that from an SEO perspective, they can tell the CRO team, and the CRO team can look to optimize the landing page and test having different elements higher up on the page and highlighting different bits of information, such as the benefits that you get with certain ticket types because of the insight from SEO.
Okay, so SEO can teach CRO more than CRO can teach SEO.
I wouldn't say it's that way around. I wouldn't say that you can only get more from one, but it is beneficial to get from both, if that makes sense. For example, the other way around, when testing navigation and seeing what kind of key journeys people go through, it might be helpful to give the insight to SEO because it might kind of direct them to certain keywords they might not be aware of.
So what does this collaboration look like? So if you're working maybe within a reasonable size of company with a large marketing department with unique CRO specialists as well as SEO specialists, what does liaising look like? Are we talking about having weekly meetings with them or something else?
I think if it's kind of an agency side experience, when working on the same clients, it would be kind of a very collaborative team effort that may include kind of those meetings and like one-to-ones. In kind of a broader sense, it's just sharing and collating those insights and making them accessible to teams. So whether you have kind of shared drives where you have insights from certain tests that you've ran that you can flag to an SEO team or flag to a CRO team that are particularly interesting and of interest to that team. I think that's kind of the easiest way to allow these different insights from these different teams to kind of come together and drive value.
So what does this mean for the role of an SEO moving forward? Are we going to see more SEOs becoming internal consultants to other marketing departments to try and evangelize the value of SEO?
I don't think the role of SEO will change in this case. I just think that the role of SEO doesn't have to be just within the SEO team, but it can actually give value to other teams by understanding the insights from what SEO are gaining.
Okay. And if an SEO is maybe approaching a CRO team or another marketing team, or maybe just focusing on CRO at the moment, because that's obviously what we're discussing today, what are the reasons that the SEO should give for the CRO to listen? Because perhaps the CRO is used to working in their own siloed departments. Maybe They have their own marketing team, and they don't want anything to do with SEO. So what are the main reasons that you have to market to the CRO for them to start to listen to SEOs?
Well, I think in terms of thinking about what SEO does, it really understands what people are looking for, because it's really understanding kind of the intent of why people are getting to the website in the first place. So having that kind of understanding of what people's intent is will help or drive value for the CRO teams, because they can actually optimize the website to meet the needs of what people wanted in the first place when they came to the website. And so the collaboration of both of them would drive the most value than both of them kind of optimizing blind.
Got you. Okay, so I like that answer. So obviously you're looking into specific user insights and assisting the CRO team to ensure that the right traffic is being driven to begin with, because obviously the CRO team can optimize on page for a better funnel to actually ensure that users flow nicely through the website. But unless the right traffic comes to begin with, then there's no point in doing that.
Exactly. And unless the right journeys are given to the right traffic at the right time, by getting SEO's input and by getting insights from SEO, the CRO team can understand, actually, for people who are landing on this ticket page, majority of them are landing on the ticket page not to buy a ticket, but to get information about tickets. So we need to make it better for them and easier for them to get information, rather than trying to drive them into the funnel when they're not actually ready yet. So kind of understanding the balance of what people's intent are and the places they're landing is the value that SEO can give to the CRO team.
So have CRO teams not traditionally thought of traffic before it gets to the site? I mean, CRO teams has the traditional way of doing CRO simply been on site and just optimizing whatever they happen to get?
I think this kind of space of CRO is evolving and shifting towards what we call experimentation, which has more of an emphasis on the learnings that you're getting, and not just kind of a narrow focus on driving conversion rate and getting kind of better performing sites in terms of conversion, but actually a holistic, better performing experience and understanding what users need. So with that shift towards experimentation and trying to optimize the whole user journey, getting these kind of understandings of what people are, what their intent is early on in their journey will help, well, does help those CRO teams that kind of moving on to trying to optimize the whole user journey rather than just for conversion.
And you're talking about things from an agency perspective. So are you finding that clients are generally fairly open and responsive to you saying, look, as an SEO specialist, we also need to have conversations about CRO as well. We need to think about the whole user experience through whatever is happening on your website, as well as actually driving traffic to your site. Or do you have many clients pushing back to say, no, the SEO's responsibility is to drive traffic, just focus on that, please?
I think clients are very open to it, and they're actually way more impressed with this kind of integrated approach. There was a stat I read the other day that was 50% of users don't go back after a bad experience with a brand. So it's kind of really key to try and gain loyalty from users, and that comes from consistent journeys. So by kind of servicing from an agency's point of view, when servicing a client, by showing you're trying to look beyond just the silo of what you're working on, but actually at the whole user journey, it does kind of show that you're trying to create a consistent journey for the users and trying to build a consistent picture of the brand, rather than just trying to tweak and optimize a certain element.
Now, one of the challenges that an SEO has in focusing on an area like this is the fact that traditionally they've been able to do things like build links and improve rankings because of links and add more traffic driven to a website because of that. So what they've done traditionally has been very measurable. If they start having conversations with CROs and getting involved in more intangibles, then it's hard to justify what they're doing time-wise. What does this mean in practice for measuring the effectiveness of an SEO's time and what they're doing?
Well, in terms of an SEO's time, as I said earlier, it would just be as simple as sharing the insights that they have. So in terms of that, the time there, it doesn't really take away from that. In terms of kind of measuring the time and the actual impact that they're driving, let's say setting aside maybe 2 tests or 1 test a month that they could kind of inspire from SEO's insights could be a good way to measure the impact that they are having, as the results of the test would be either a cost saved or a positive impact to the site experience.
So, if you do deliver a much more positive site experience, if more people end up inquiring or purchasing something from your business, and you feel that you have improved your conversion rates and your user experience because of that, have you ever been able to tie back improved user experience with improved ranking on search engines?
No, just because I guess with improved ranking, the only way you'd be able to measure that would be improved click through potentially. But in terms of tying a test to an SEO ranking, I haven't been able to do that.
It's a tricky question, and it's not necessarily something that you can definitely put your finger on and say it's part of an algorithm. So it's a completely fair answer, but it's an interesting question as well, and that user experience is talked about a lot more from an SEO perspective nowadays, and it's important to try and measure the effectiveness of what you're doing, certainly, as well. How do you see this space continuing to evolve? Do you think that job functions are going to be combined a little bit more? Do you think that the SEO role is going to become less about driving traffic and more about just thinking about the users?
I don't think the roles themselves are going to change. I think there's value in every kind of, or well, in both of these roles to really focus on optimizing the on-site experience in terms of CRO and optimizing the kind of search experience in SEO. And those are very key and will probably stay the same, but it's just the way they work together that will change in terms of the integration of them sharing insights and challenges and trying to kind of go after problems together rather than kind of staying in silo, I think.
And you talked about the CRO changing into more of an experimentation type of role. Does this mean that CRO is also potentially involved in doing things like running split tests, and that SEO should be talking to CRO about this?
Not necessarily kind of the shift infers that. It's more just that it has more emphasis, the CRO space and the CRO role has more emphasis on the learnings that you get rather than just the impact on conversion, but actually looking at way more metrics to measure success rather than just conversion.
Is there a certain type of business that can take more advantage of a CRO type role? For instance, maybe e-commerce that relies on online transactions on your individual site, or are there other types of businesses that could really take advantage of what a CRO could do for them?
I think all businesses in all industries can have an impact from what the role of CRO and the role of experimentation, but especially experimentation because we're just looking at trying to optimize the experience on the site, and that infold kind of optimizes or ends up optimizing conversion rate. So looking at actually conversion rate and whether that's your conversion is inquiry or registrations, if you're an event or kind of any other kind of business, it would be beneficial to optimize the experience because it grows kind of user loyalty over time, and it allows you to test trying to make consistent journeys with your, whether it's social or paid search, with the on-site experience.
And finally, if an SEO and CRO decide that they should be working together a little bit more, how do they decide on what to do first and what's likely to be the most impactful activity?
I think having a shared document or a shared space or platform where they can share insights between each other, I think is a key first step. With a CRO hat on, looking at SEO's insights, they'll be able to take out certain areas that they can use as opportunities to test online, and the same vice versa.
Ninsiima, what's the key takeaway from the tip you shared today?
That these two roles don't have to work separately, but can work together to drive impact and understanding of what users need. And that is through collaboration and shared understanding.
Ninsiima Rukandema is an experimentation analyst at Hookflash, and you can find her over at hookflash.co.uk. Ninsiima, thanks so much for adding your additional insight to SEO in 2025.
Thank you.
I've been your host, David Bain, and you've been listening to SEO in 2025 Additional Insights, a Majestic series that complements the original podcast, video series, and book. Find out more at SEOin2025.com.